What if the US decided to shut down China's trade routes? Sounds extreme? Well, that threat is very real, and Beijing has a plan to escape this stranglehold. But will it actually work? Central America might be small, but it plays a massive role in global trade. And that's all because of the Panama Canal, one of the most strategic choke points in the world. This shortcut allows ships to move from the Atlantic to the Pacific without having to go around South America, saving time in billions of dollars. But here's the problem. The United States still holds indirect control over it, and that puts China in an incredibly vulnerable position. But how do the US still control the Panama Canal? And why is that a huge problem for China? Technically, Panama took over the canal's administration in 1999, but a special agreement allows the US to intervene militarily if they perceive a threat. This means that if tensions between Washington and Beijing escalate, the US could simply block Chinese ships from using the canal, and that would be devastating for China. The country heavily depends on maritime trade. With most of its exports and imports passing through strategic routes, it doesn't fully control. But can't China just use another route? Not so fast. The Strait of Malacca, where 80% of China's imported oil flows through, is also vulnerable. The US and its allies could easily block it, cutting off China's critical supply lines. To escape this dependence, China announced an ambitious plan, building a new canal through Nicaragua. This new route would be 3 times longer than the Panama Canal, with enough depth to handle the world's largest cargo ships. If completed, this project would break the US monopoly in Central America and secure a reliable alternative for Chinese shipping. But there's just one problem. What if I told you this canal might never be built? Here's why. The Nicaragua Canal faces 3 massive challenges. Lack of funding. The project costs $50 billion, which is 3 times Nicaragua's entire GDP. The Chinese company HKND, which was leading the project, has been in financial trouble since 2015. Environmental concerns? The canal would cut through Lake Nicaragua, the largest freshwater source in Central America. Scientists warn it could severely impact local water supplies and ecosystems. Local resistance. 100,000 people would be displaced by the project, triggering protests and political pushback. In short, China's dream canal may never happen. But does that mean China has given up? Not at all. Even without the Nicaragua Canal, China is expanding its global influence in another way, by securing strategic ports and military bases around the world. And one of the most surprising places China wants to build a military base is Latin America. China is negotiating with Argentina to build a naval base in Ushuaia, at the southern tip of the continent. This would give China a military presence in the region and serve as a counterbalance to US dominance in Panama. But will this strategy be enough to counter American influence? Or will the US always have the upper hand? The battle for maritime control could shape the future of global trade. If the Nicaragua Canal is completed, the US would lose one of its biggest geopolitical advantages. But if it's never built, China remains vulnerable. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think China will find a way to escape US influence? Or is the Nicaragua Canal doomed to fail? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and share this video.